Like when she became the minister, she changed a whole lot of things in that village which never saw electricity, which never had a bridge to cross a river, which she herself used to swim to cross over, to get to the bus to go to Bhubaneswar to study. Within her ministerial tenure, she has brought about a massive change in her constituency, Rairangpur, and her village also. After becoming the governor, she did not give her assent to the bills that were presented by her own government, and she was very open in saying that come what may, जल जंगल और ज़मीन आदिवासी का बहुत अपना होता है, उसके साथ कोई compromise नहीं हो सकता है. She's just not gone to become the president like for nothing. She had everything she's learned on her own. She used to stand near the toll gates where the collections was going on. People wanted her to sit in the car and watch it. No, I will be there at the counter.
Well, if the minds are certainly curious about the first citizen of our country, that is Droupadi Murmu, the president of our country, over here is the answer to maximum of them, all about Droupadi Murmu, the president of our country, by Kasturi Ray. And I'm now joined by Kasturi Ray herself. Kasturi ji, thank you so much for your precious time. This is certainly something very interesting to come out and first of all to think about her and write so much and to bring in and out all about her. You have certainly come out with so many answers for us.
Yes, it was a Herculean task. Let me be very honest. It was very difficult initially when I was approached. I was a little caustic about, whether I should accept it or no. But then, because it was the president, so I took it in my stride, because as a journalist, I'm sure you know that we are ready to face all kinds of deadlines. So even if the deadline was very, very steep, a 90-day deadline for a biography of sitting president was not an easy job. But yes, when then things get tough, the tough gets going.
Let me, directly come to the whole story about that. The remarkable journey that you have mentioned, everyone will go through it. But what does that important point that in all her chapters or in her journey life when you express about this?
I think the best thing that the book sends across a message is about hope. Hope in the face of adversity, challenges. And she's come up trumps in everything she's faced. I think she's one president who has faced one after another, from her childhood to her growing up years, to college life, political career, losing elections, losing children in the family, and losing other family members. Despite that, the grit and determination with which she became the governor. And she, I'm sure if you go through the book, you'll see how she has excelled as the governor. And now as the president also, we have heard her for the last 1 year. We have been hearing how open she is about what she feels. She doesn't like to read from a script. She says what she feels like is right and wrong.
How and in which way her childhood was, and how she went ahead with her own era, because it comes from tribal, India.
Yeah, she comes from a tribal, and that too, I'm saying an interior tribal pocket, where going to schools was also not thinkable those days when she was a student. So it was her friends who backed out of the school after standard 5, and they stayed back, they got married, and they were happy in their lives. And it was at this stage she was the one to climb up the dais of a minister's program, to just show her certificates and say, I want to study more. Because I don't have a school here, I need enrollment in a school in the capital city of Bhubaneswar. She succeeded in that. The minister was so impressed with her that he immediately arranged for her stay in one of the residential schools, and then her admission to the college. From every point, now when she returns to her, like when she became the minister, she changed a whole lot of things in that village which never saw electricity, which never had a bridge to cross a river, which she herself used to swim to cross over, to get to the bus to go to Bhubaneswar to study. So those were the challenges she immediately addressed. And within her ministerial tenure, she has brought about a massive change in her constituency, Rairangpur, and her village also. So she is actually an epitome of, as I said, hope. And she could say she could give a message to the world that nothing is impossible if you have the grit and determination to do so.
How about that very particular phase when her name was doing rounds for presidential, the candidature that was there, and then suddenly from nowhere her name was taken, and it was a very difficult thing because any party going ahead and with announcing a whip and still coming out with as a majority is something remarkable, and that showed how Indians wanted her to be here, or
yeah, because when she was the governor, actually her performance was speaking for herself. People had seen that a woman from a tribal background, from a remote Adivasi village, has gone on to become the minister. Successfully done at that, won elections after elections. After that, she lost, of course, but then she has won elections when nobody even dared to study beyond standard 5. And then, going on to become governor, and after becoming the governor, she did not give her assent to the bills that were, presented by her own government. She has Santhal Pargana Tenancy Act. So these are the things that showed that, she had it in her to, do something more than constitutional also if needs be. And I also had come to know that, even at the cost of, going against her own party that nominated her as the governor, she never resented in addressing the tribal issues, and she was very open in saying that kam what mein jal jangal aur zameen आदिवासी का बहुत अपना होता है, उसके साथ कोई compromise नहीं हो सकता है. So that's the kind of attitude she had even when she was the governor.
This thing also reminds me of the recent incident in one of the judiciary conference, when even the Chief Justice of India was present, and she went ahead and gave that very particular message that how there are several inside the jails, they are still languishing, they are unaware about their fundamental laws, they are unaware about their fundamental rights, and it's judiciary that needs to have a kind of improvement and change.
That's because when she was the minister in Odisha government, she was also in the House Committee of various organizations, the Home Committee of Prisons, like when she went to the prisons and she saw their plight. She gave a very hard-hitting report to the government also that why are people being languishing in jail because of a slap? If somebody slaps a neighbor, why should they be put inside the jail for a long time? And you saw that, she was never reading from a script in that speech. And she kept her answer open-ended, that I should not be saying anything more than that. It's up to you to understand what I wish to. If you wish progress of the nation, why do you want more jails? I mean, this is what reflects on a person who has actually come from a very humble background, seeing the grassroots and seeing people experiencing everything. She's just not gone to become the president like for nothing. She had everything she's learned on her own. She's faced it, she's believed in the things that she's done, and today we are all proud of her.
There was a setback. She lost her own family members and all. Still, that never stopped her from being what she is. And she went ahead and she started giving, being there for the public service.
Yes, she always wanted to be with the people because, at a point in time when she lost both her sons, her husband, her mother, and her brother within successive years, from 2009 to 2014, it was a very difficult period for her.
How did she overcome?
She was somebody, who was at a point, just as per her daughter's message, that she was somebody who was almost broken. But I just said in the discussion that, it was her invincible capacity to get over all the odds. She said that I'm not only for my family, the whole country is my family. So if I'm losing 2-3 family members, I cannot ditch the others. I have to live for them, I have to lead them, I have to work for them. And she always wanted to be in politics because she thought that politics is a place where you, as a representative, you have more capacity to address the grievances of the general public.
How has been your interaction with Droupadi Murmu and the last...
I haven't met Madam Murmu at all. Because when I was given the book, already the protocol was in place. You cannot meet her, you cannot meet her family members, you cannot speak to her.
Still finding it out in and out all about her. I want a bit of, some ingredients.
So there was, I think I have met all friends, very, very close. Her hostel roommates, her college mates, people who have been her private secretary. Political parties, she was with the BJP, so people who have been with her in the grassroots work she did. people who have lobbied for her to get the Ministry of Transport and Commerce, which is very important, because the party said, why should a woman always become an SC/ST minister? We want transport and commerce because we have the maximum, we have a toll gate here which gives the maximum revenue to the government. Let our candidate be the transport. And they lobbied with the BJD government when BJP and BJD were in coalition. And she finally got the transport ministry.
Is that one formula to be among the male dominance areas like politics or like, having a ministerial berth? How she maintained it?
She maintained it because, as I read out from the excerpt, that, when things were going very tough and she was suddenly handed over the transport ministry, she said, I was myself very afraid. How do I manage this? We have read about it in books, but managing a department of transport and commerce, going to the transport offices and seeing which is grossing well, how much revenue is coming, and development was not at all the agenda of transport and commerce ministry. So what am I going to do in this department if I don't get to know? So those are the struggles, like she faced. But, in the face of hardships, to understand, she used to stand near the toll gates where the collections was going on. People wanted her to sit in the car and watch it. No, I will be there at the counter to see how much revenue is collected in a day. Whole day under the sun she would spend and then come back home to know that what was a day's collection. So those are the things that she has done, which her people close to her have expressed and I've mentioned them in the book.
Lastly, any second portion also is going to come?
I guess the biography will not be complete if I'm just writing about the journey, because her presidential tenure is just a year old now. She has 4 more years, maybe another term. So it has to be something, about her presidential term that needs to be written about, and a biography can only be complete after the highest achievements she does.
She was afraid also during going ahead for the presidential throne, and I think it was Prime Minister Narendra Modi who went ahead and gave her...
And said that I'm sure that you will be able to do it as you did as the governor of Jharkhand.
So that's Kasturi Ray, and certainly that is a book that she's written with all in and out, as we are mentioning it again and again, and certainly interesting stories to know about this particular warrior and now the first citizen of our country. Video journalist Sumit Kumar, I'm Urvashi Khuna reporting for The New Indian.
For such fine news breaks and video features from ground on your mobile phones, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, The New Indian, by clicking on the bell icon. Also, follow us on the social media handles on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook and Coup.